Joining us with some thoughts on the state of the city and how it will also be shaped by the City Council is at-large Councilor Annissa Essaibi-George. Thank you very much for being with us, Councilor.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Councilor, I want to pick on maybe an issue that the mayor certainly spent a lot of time on last night, that you spent a lot of time on with the council. He even mentioned something that you contributed to make things better, and that's in education. Now, what did you think about this?
Well, the speech last night was certainly exciting and energizing and uplifting in a very short amount of time. I think he was probably speaking for 20 minutes or so with that great introduction from some of the city's brightest and best, both young and old, on the stage. It really was, his speech, the mayor's speech, was a celebration of all of the great things that we have here in the city of Boston and the work that's left undone. And the education funding that I'm looking forward to seeing and talking about and working on is really an incredible opportunity to help some of our schools that are still not performing at the level that they should be, and supporting the kids that need so many more supports. And you mentioned over the last 4 years since I've been in office and into this new term, providing the social and emotional supports that our kids need in the schools, and knowing that this funding can be directed towards it is pretty exciting to me.
No, I know that, as the mayor hinted, there are a lot of schools out there that people went inside, they'd be really impressed. Mm-hmm. There are some other schools, some people say, this has not been getting any better. Why is it taking so long, especially Madison Park? Should there have been more addressing that in the speech last night?
Well, he doesn't have much time to address sort of the finer details of what we're doing here in the city and that state of the city. And the mayor's speech last night was a great call to action, a great call to celebration, but a great reminder of the work that's left undone. I very much appreciated the mayor inviting families across our city to visit their local schools, to check them out, because we've got gems across our city. But he still held that we have so many schools still that are underperforming. And this investment of $100 million over the next 3 years in additional revenue will go a long way to help those schools make the gains that they need to support the kids in our city and in all of our neighborhoods across the city. So I'm excited about his call for supporting the full-time nurses in all of our schools, increasing mental health providers in our schools, something that I've worked tirelessly on since joining the council. And I look forward to this upcoming budget season where we're going to see how we can realize those dollars in a meaningful way for our kids and for our families.
Now, when I was a student in one of the public schools, I always think the nurse was just someone who you went to see, and she stick a thermometer in your mouth and send you home early. Why is the nurse so important now?
Well, we know that kids are dealing with more than just belly aches and bumps and bruises and low-grade fevers. Our nurses are gatekeepers. They are very, very much the entryway into trauma services for so many of our kids. They are able to recognize kids who are dealing with issues that are so much greater and deeper, that are often linked to poverty, often linked to trauma, linked to homelessness, linked to hunger, linked to mental health issues. And we need to make sure that we have nurses that are in our buildings across the city, full-time nurses, and we're just about there in the city of Boston, so that they can really service and support our kids for those deeper issues, for those greater concerns.
This is BNN News, and we're talking with Boston City Councilor Annissa Essaibi-George. Councilor, on housing, I think the mayor mentioned things in which there's a lot of agreement. Did you see anything in that you think is really new and really important?
Well, I'm certainly excited about the investment in city-based vouchers. I think it's a real opportunity to help families stay in the city of Boston, because we know the cost of living here is so high. I also truly appreciate him acknowledging the need for greater investment in the Boston Housing Authority. The families that I've worked with and individuals experiencing homelessness across the city of Boston need affordable housing. And the BHA is often the one place where they can get it, but the wait list is so long and it's so hard to access those units across our city. We need to make sure that we're investing in the infrastructure of the BHA and creating more opportunities for families to continue to live here in the city of Boston. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the dollars associated with that and the work that's ahead, especially in this new term.
He's also putting a lot of money into home ownership. A lot of people might be saying, if people can barely afford to rent in the city, how can they buy a home? Explain, how's America going to close the gap on that?
Ownership is key, and we talk about the greatest stabilizing factor in any one of our communities across the city. Ownership is key to stabilizing neighborhoods, and we need to empower our residents to own a slice of this great city and to create both affordable rental opportunities with affordable homeownership opportunities. Those are two critical components that we need to be very aggressive on. And through some of the work at D&D and the Home Center, we've been able to do that. With this additional investment that the mayor spoke of last night, we'll be able to do more of that for more residents across the city.
Yeah, one of the things you want to look at more closely is family homelessness through a special commission. What do you hope to find out from that?
Well, I hope to end family homelessness in the city of Boston. We have 5,000 students in the Boston Public Schools experiencing homelessness, countless families across the Commonwealth, but here in the city of Boston, we need to take care of our families who continue to not just have an issue or a crisis around accessing housing, but accessing mental health services, accessing recovery services, really finding ways to stabilize families. And all of those components unfortunately can lead to families experiencing homelessness. So we've got to double down our efforts as a city. In the last term, and I will refile in this new term, a call to form a special commission to end family homelessness. We need to do that here in the city of Boston because we've seen some success when we've done that in other areas, whether it's chronic elder homelessness, veterans homelessness. We need to do that for families, but we also then need to do it on a statewide level.
And we've also been concerned with the opioid crisis for many years as well. I think the one thing that stands out, he mentioned the bridge to Long Island. Is that going to be there soon enough to really do a lot of good for people?
You know, the bridge, and we've talked about this a couple of times, and this conversation's come up in many different places. The bridge to Long Island is still a little bit away, and we'll continue to plug away at that at the city level and work towards getting that bridge built. In the meantime, we have a public health crisis. When we think about the opioid crisis in our neighborhoods across our city, we certainly see it at Mass and Cass, but we see it across the city. Everyone is touched by this crisis, and that work continues today. And you know, although we've shifted in terms, the work has continued over the last few months with the Mass and Cass 2.0 task force, which I'm a member of, and the work to make sure that services and resources are available, both to individuals dealing with addiction and challenged by addiction, but their families and the communities.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you, Chris.
City Councilor Annissa Essaibi-George.